San Antonio police trying to find out what happened behind closed doors in the middle of the night, leading to the shooting death of a woman. They say she was somehow fatally shot while inside a downtown apartment. Katrina Weber shows us why investigators say it is possible this was an accident.
A man obviously distraught sits handcuffed not far from the likely source of his distress. San Antonio police found him inside a downtown apartment after 4 a.m. They say he was one of only 2 people there when the other, a 28-year-old woman, suffered a deadly gunshot wound.
That person is now currently being investigated, or I should say interviewed, with our homicide unit.
Even hours later, police had no definite answers about what was originally reported as an accidental shooting. As they worked inside the ground floor apartment on South Flores near Cesar Chavez Boulevard, neighbors outside couldn't help but notice it all.
We're kind of just wondering, what happened last night.
Brian Pagao had spent the night entertaining his cousin from Chicago. Then they woke up to real-life drama.
San Antonio's great, but that was really crazy.
Whatever happened behind this closed door practically stayed that way as far as neighbors are concerned. Even the closest neighbors say they didn't hear any gunshots and only realized something happened when they saw all the police cars here.
We see the crime scene unit right here, so we poked our head and we see all these yellow tape.
Early on, police said someone may have been mishandling or playing with a gun, possibly a rifle, causing it to go off. Later, they said they weren't sure how the shooting happened. We saw crime scene investigators carrying out bags of evidence, including what looked like at least 2 long guns.
I don't know if they're playing around with them or what, or if you just have them loaded.
Police, though, are working to sort it all out. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
This afternoon, attorneys for both sides in the case of a man accused of killing his own son presented their closing arguments, and now that case is in the jury's hands. This trial was quick. It started on Tuesday. Derek Cole is accused of abusing his own son, 12-year-old Danilo Coles, so severely that he died in February of 2022. The jury heard testimony from a doctor who treated the child when he was brought into the emergency room. He described seeing skin hanging off the child's body and numerous injuries. The doctor said that Danilo's condition was dire before he even arrived.
When EMS found him, he was in full cardiac arrest. He was not breathing spontaneously. He did not have any evidence of heart activity. They got his heart restarted on their way to the hospital.
Injury to a child is a first-degree felony. If convicted, Coles could face up to life in prison. New at 5, San Antonio police looking for 3 suspects who they say robbed and pistol whipped an employee loading an ATM with money. This happened at a security service federal credit union near Loop 410 north of Rigsby Avenue. Police say the suspects took off with cash. They left in a white Audi SUV. At the scene, a drive-through ATM appeared to be ripped open. A bank representative told us the victim did not work for the bank, but an independent contractor. If you have any information about this robbery or where police can find those suspects, you are asked to call SAPD. San Antonio's next city budget could break $4 billion. That's even as the city tries to tackle the threat of a multi-million-dollar budget deficit. Property and sales tax revenues aren't growing as fast as expenses are, leaving the city to try and tackle a $173 million gap within its general fund over the next 2 years. To help with that, city staff have included shifting or cutting nearly $111 million from that fund over the course of 3 years. Part of those cuts include dozens of city jobs. Some of those, though, are already vacant, and staff says the others would be able to move into other positions within the city. The city manager says the budget won't carry any major impact to city services.
$111 million over 2 years is a lot, but with a $1.69 billion budget, having to be able to focus on what's important in those core services is what our goal was.
Now, there are some additions in the budget, like 25 new San Antonio police patrol officers. Coming up today on the news at 6, we'll tell you why some city council members say that is still not enough. And if you'd like to weigh in on the budget decisions, the city of San Antonio is going to begin holding public town halls over the next 2 weeks. You can scan the QR code you see there in the corner of your screen, and it will take you to this web article. There will be a town hall in each city council district, plus a special town hall geared toward youth. You can find the dates and locations on KSAT.com. Meanwhile, Bexar County leaders holding their own budget town hall tonight to get community feedback on how the county plans to spend its money over the next fiscal year. That town hall is happening at Our Lady of Guadalupe Catholic Church Parish Hall in Helotes. Bexar County Judge Peter Sakai will be there, along with Precinct 3 Commissioner Grant Moody. There will also be one final budget town hall on Thursday, August 21st at the Holy Redeemer Hall in Precinct 4. Both are free to attend, and they all start at 6 p.m. Take a look at traffic here. I-35. I-35 at Powell, very slow going. Not shocking us. At least I-35 is consistent, right?
That's a good way to look at it.
Let's give it some points for consistency, Adam.
I like that. That's an optimistic way to look at it. I-35 is just being I-35 right now.
You do you. 35.
You do you, I-35, and gridlock us every afternoon and morning. So on a 30 radar, nothing locally. You head off to the west and into the parts of the hill country. That's where we have some brief thunder shower activity. Nothing severe, nothing strong, quick splash and dash. And this is mostly right around I-10, west of Kerrville, west of Mountain Home, and even Junction and westward. Also, just along and near Highway 90 from Sabinal through Uvalde, a few little pop-ups, nothing significant there. Come sunset, all that activity dies off. 20% chance tomorrow, then a 40% chance on Saturday. We're increasing rain coverage and potential because of this development that we have in the Gulf. We've been talking about this and for a couple of days, and now it has developed over the past couple of hours a little bit. It's not a significant system or anything, and there's the off chance it could get its own name. More than anything, the upper level energy and support that's causing the thunderstorms here, that's going to head our way. We'll talk about that, time it out for you, and talk about what you can expect over the weekend because of this in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Adam. Developing now, 2 people rushed to a hospital after a crash involving 3 vehicles. San Antonio police say that this crash happened just after 7 this morning on FM 78 at Mallard Meadow near Woodlake Parkway. Police say a driver veered into oncoming traffic, crashing into a Jeep and another car and then flipped. That driver took off, but a passenger from the car that caused the crash stayed and was taken to a hospital. We've also learned another person was taken to a hospital with a broken leg. Police say that driver who took off could face charges if they're caught. A court case here in San Antonio over the 10 Commandments. A federal judge here will hear arguments tomorrow on whether to block a new Texas law that requires the 10 Commandments to be posted in every public school classroom. Governor Greg Abbott signed that into law back in June, but the ACLU of Texas and other civil liberties groups say the law violates the First Amendment. More than a dozen families are suing 11 school districts, including Alamo Heights, Northeast, Northside, and Lackland ISDs. The lawsuit points to a similar law in Louisiana that was struck down earlier this year. Supporters of the law believe posting the 10 Commandments in classrooms will encourage better behavior among students. The redistricting showdown that started in Texas has now spread to California. California Governor Gavin Newsom is calling for the redrawing of his state's congressional maps now. This is all in an effort for control of the U.S. House of Representatives in Washington. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has that story.
In the political power plays for control of the U.S. House of Representatives, California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom today launching his response to what he calls Republican attempts to rig congressional maps in Texas.
I know they say don't mess with Texas. Well, don't mess with the great Golden State.
Newsom announcing a special statewide election November 4th for Californians to vote on new congressional maps.
We can't stand back and watch this democracy disappear district by district all across this country.
It's all in response to Republican efforts in Texas to redraw its state congressional district map and possibly pick up 5 more GOP seats in the U.S. House. States redraw their congressional maps every 10 years after the census to adjust for population changes. But it's happening now in Texas at the request of President Trump.
Are you calling in for a complete redrawing of the congressional map? No, just a very simple redrawing. We pick up 5 seats.
Texas Democratic lawmakers leaving the state to prevent a vote on the redrawn maps. Republican Governor Greg Abbott threatening them with fines or arrest.
If they don't start showing up, I may start expanding. We may make it 6 or 7 or 8 new seats we're going to be adding on the Republican side.
Both parties draw congressional maps for political advantage, but this extraordinary redrawing of the Texas map could lead other Democratic states like New York and Illinois to do the same. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, New York.
And late this afternoon, we learned that Texas House Democrats who left the state to block those new congressional maps say that they will come back once the session ends tomorrow. We'll keep you posted. New at 5, the U.S. Justice Department has requested Texas voter rolls and details on how those are maintained. According to the Texas Tribune, the DOJ has asked for info on canceled voter records, records on non-citizens removed from voter rolls, and a list of state and local elections officials who are responsible for maintaining those rolls. The reports that Texas officials are holding off, though, on sharing this info now because the state is switching to a new system to manage voter registrations. The DOJ has sent similar requests to other states as well. Making headlines today, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announcing a new immigration detention center that he's calling Deportation Depot in North Florida. The facility will hold more than 1,300 people temporarily while they are being processed for deportation. This comes a month after opening Alligator Alcatraz, which now has a temporary construction pause to protect the environment. DeSantis says that Florida is leading the way on enforcing immigration laws and sending people back home. Bexar County has proclaimed today a day of remembrance to honor those killed in the June 12th floods. 2 months ago, 11 people were killed after floodwaters swept away cars along Loop 410 and Perrin Bidle. Tonight, a vigil will be held at the Rock Church at the address you see here on your screen. That ceremony starts at 7 o'clock and is open to the public. New at 5, the nonprofit organization Opportunity Home says it is losing $24 million after the EPA canceled the Solar for All program, which helped low-income communities with solar projects. The nonprofit says thousands of families were counting on savings from lower energy bills and backup power during outages. The city of San Antonio and others in Texas affected by this too. The EPA's move comes after funding had already been frozen earlier this year. Just a reminder, coming up on Monday, August 18th, the Together for Texas concert is happening. It will be at the Tobin Center, and all proceeds go to local flood relief efforts. Tickets start at $35, but if you can't make it, you can watch the concert live here on KSAT 12 and the free KSAT Plus app. Listen to this, more than 80 years overdue, but now it's back. How this book was finally returned to the San Antonio Public Library. Coming up. Plus, you know things are more expensive these days. Well, now we're getting a better idea of how pricier it is for people to make products. Will that cost pass on to you? That's next. Now for a look at the economy. The latest numbers from the Department of Labor are sending some mixed messages for consumers and producers alike. According to the Producer Price Index, those making goods are paying just over 3% more to do so. That's one of the biggest jumps in 3 years. The question now is, will businesses absorb those costs or just pass it down to the consumer?
This is, I would say, incredibly concerning because what we're seeing is that this pricing pressure is building farther back in the supply chains.
The good news is inflation is holding steady at 2.7%, but with producers paying more now, that could spur future inflation. All right, listen to this next story because as unlikely as it sounds, it actually happened. The San Antonio Library says an overdue library book that was 82 years late has been returned. Library marketing manager Scott Williams tells us that a parenting self-help book was mailed to them from Oregon with a note. The book is titled Your Child, His Family and Friends, and it was believed to have been accidentally packed by the sender's grandmother when she was being transferred to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City.
It's not really in line with modern standards around parenting, but it is an interesting snapshot of the times.
So nothing about gentle parenting in there, I don't think. Screen time, I don't know if that's included in this book, Adam. If you are wondering about late fees, though, the library no longer charges those as of 2021. You can see this book on display at the San Antonio Public Library's central location until the end of August.
I really want to look up the social media chapter on that one.
Yeah.
Right, see what they have to say.
I think we'll be looking for a while.
I mean, could you imagine the author of that book seeing what there is these days?
Oh my gosh, yes. And how fast it all changes and then what the internet tells us to do to change it again.
I know, right? Oh boy. Okay, let's talk about the Gulf. We have some recent development. That disturbance that moved in from the Western Caribbean that we've been talking about for a few days, it's now emerged over the warm waters of the Gulf. So there has been some development, cluster of storms down there, area of disturbed weather, a slight chance of it organizing and strengthening. I mean, say it got a name, right? I know that would cause a lot of hype because people tend to think systems with names are worse. It wouldn't make a difference here. It would be the same impact for Texas and our neck of the woods as well. Now that system, more than anything, boosts our rain chances as we get into Saturday. Just look at the last 12 hours, the thunderstorm development here over the Bay of Campeche. Now this is running out of real estate over the open water before it starts to interact with land. And anytime these interact with land, it cuts off any potential for further tropical development. Hurricane Center has it a 40% chance of becoming a tropical depression. And again, if it could get strong enough, maybe a low-end tropical storm. But bottom line, impacts for us in deep South Texas are pretty much the same. More than anything, what we're watching, the upper level energy from this, the upper level swirl that's likely to track right up the Rio Grande, which would be ideal because you want to be on the right side of that upper level energy. That's where the best energy is and the best rain-making energy. Here's a look at the latest futurecast. Tomorrow, some showers will be thrown onshore closer to the Gulf Coast as early as 11 a.m. and noon. A couple of them could pop up closer to San Antonio and especially in locations between I-10 and I-37 along the coastal plain, but only a 10 to 20% chance of some of those showers locally. We get into Saturday, and when that main upper energy starts to move inland, we see some early morning showers pop up and scattered in nature from the morning on into the afternoon, and we could easily pick up a quick couple of inches of rain out of some of these downpours. We're not anticipating flooding right now because these should be progressive, but of course we'll monitor it closely and check back in for updates. But because of that upper support in that system, 40% chance Saturday. Then next week, starting Monday, we get back into the same pattern we've been seeing this week with those daily afternoon pop-up showers. So it's better than the heat high that we're so used to this time of year. Now, granted, it's still hot. I mean, upper 90s near 100, but it's August. You get that. It's unique that we even have rain chances with it. Tropical storm Erin slowly strengthening as it heads westward. It's going to be between the Bahamas and Bermuda by early next week as a major Category 3 hurricane, then most likely steering away from the East Coast. Yesterday in Kerrville, Daniel's backyard, 1.4 inches of rain. 99 right now in Bulverde, 102 Lavernia, New Braunfels 101. 100 at the airport right now. By 9, we're at 91, and tomorrow morning we start the day in the upper 70s, upper 90s by the afternoon, and those isolated rain chances afternoon and evening tomorrow becoming more likely as we get into Saturday morning and then Saturday afternoon. Sundays are one break from rain chances, sunny and shocking 100, right? Triple digits.
Hey, you know what? We cannot take those rain chances for granted this time of year. So that's some good news. All right, Larry, let's turn to sports now. And you know what? Let's talk about football.
Yes, let's talk about football. Absolutely. Incarnate word. So Richie Torres from Southside High School was named QB1 today. He's been waiting patiently, and now he's the man. And in the NBA, the Spurs and the NBA released their schedules today. We got a little sneak peek coming up.
Now it's finally my turn, and I'm just ready to go.
Richie Torres is ready to lead the Cardinals offense in big board sports. It is official. Richie Torres is the starting quarterback at the University of the Incarnate Word, giving him plenty of reasons to smile. The Southside Cardinals great went to Nebraska right out of high school in 2022. He didn't appear in a game for the Huskers that season, redshirting before transferring to UIW. In 2 seasons with the Cardinals, he played in 12 games, throwing for 608 yards with 7 touchdowns and 1 interception. He's now the guy patiently waiting to be QB1.
I don't think there's any pressure if I just do what I'm supposed to. You know, and I rely on my guys, and I really do trust them. And so I think just every day coming in and trusting them and executing the plan. And when coaches put it in, I just do what they say. So I think it's a huge opportunity. It's really a blessing. I can thank God more. But like I said, I just like to go out there and perform, and whatever comes my way, whatever opportunities come my way. So
Richie had a little bit of a leg up. Obviously, he's been here for a couple years. You know, so operationally, he was ahead of the game. He'd already kind of made some of those mistakes, and the best teacher is reps. You know, and he's had 2 years of reps at it. I think that he's a natural-born leader. I think his poise in game is something that really kind of separated himself. I think he's throwing the ball as good as he's thrown it right now, and making pretty quality decisions. You know, so he's going to be the guy.
Richie and the Cardinals are 9 days away from opening the regular season on the road at Nichols. The San Antonio Spurs 2025-26 schedule is out, and they served it up menu style, breaking down the season into breakfast, lunch, and dinner menus. And they posted a little fun video as well. That's pretty cool. The Spurs senior VP of brand engagement is pumped for the season.
I always get excited no matter what dates fall where. And this year in particular, I was really excited to see that we were starting the year with a national TV game against the Mavs, and then that we had a home opener on October 26th in the afternoon.
All right, we will have more on the Spurs news schedule tonight at 7, streaming on KSAT Sports Now, and we'll have some key dates for you coming up tonight at 6. We'll be right back.
All right, we'll take another look at the golf system coming up at 6, and I'll have some spaghetti plots for you then. I just want to point out that more than anything, just going to boost our rain chances Saturday. Even as early as sunrise, we could wake up to some showers on Saturday, and scattered in nature, 40% coverage across south central Texas. Then the only break from rain chances is Sunday.
All right, thanks, Adam. And thanks for watching the news at 5. We'll see you back.